Hi everybody, it's Ashley again from Soul Garden Health. Today I'm really excited about this recipe we're working with. It's a black bean brownie. I've been practicing it with my nieces and they love it, but we had to make a few tweaks. It wasn't quite sweet enough the first time, so this time we're going to add some extra sweetness and a little more moisture so they're nice and fudgy. So if you like a fudgy brownie, this is a great option. So the reason we're using black beans is because it's a grain-free option. So if you can't eat wheat, like myself and my little nephews also has a wheat allergy, or you're avoiding gluten or other grains, this is a great way to make a nice, healthy and sweet treat for you without any grains included. So we have 1 can of black beans here that I've rinsed really well to help get rid of some of that beany flavor. You put it into a food processor, or I use the wide Vitamix. I use it almost every day. It's really great for everything. So we're gonna have 1 can of black beans, high in fiber, high in protein. So not only are you getting a dessert in this recipe, but you're getting lots of nutrition and almost like a protein bar here to give you protein and fiber to keep you nice and full and energized. So we start there with the black beans. We're first gonna add in the liquid ingredients or the wet ingredients, blend that up and then add in the dry so everything mixes really well. So in place of egg today, since this is also an egg-free recipe, me and my little nephew, again, both can't do eggs, I've made a version of a flax egg. So I did 3 tablespoons of flaxseed meal, which is ground up flax seeds. I actually ground them myself in the Vitamix. I also added an extra tablespoon of tapioca starch. This is something I'm trying to help give it a little more gooey consistency. The starch will help hold things together to give it that fudgy, gooey kind of feel. So I added a little bit of that. And then you add about 3 tablespoons of water per tablespoon of flax seeds. There's around 9 tablespoons of water in here. It doesn't have to be exact. You just want it to be this nice, pasty, gooey consistency. And that's gonna be your binder in the recipe. So we're gonna add that into our blender. And if you don't have flaxseed, another option that is similar is you can use chia seed as well. Both flaxseed and chia seed are high in omega-3s, a nice source of protein and fiber. We're also going to add in vanilla. So a secret ingredient whenever you make anything that's chocolate, like a brownie or a chocolate cake, vanilla actually helps the chocolate flavor come out more, and you get that real nice burst of chocolate flavor by the vanilla and the chocolate mixing together. So that's a nice little tip for cooking. And then we're gonna add in a 1/4 cup of butter or oil. So you can use coconut oil. I'm using an organic cultured butter. I love Kerrygold butter is a great one, and that's gonna be our oil for today. You can melt that beforehand. This is at room temperature. So it should blend up there really good. So now that we have the mainly liquid ingredients in, we'll go ahead and start to blend and get that going. Okay, so once you have that well combined, you can go ahead and use a spatula to scrape down the sides if things get a little messy. This actually works really great in a big Cuisinart style food processor, and it will blend even faster and better. So if you have one of those, that's probably what I would recommend for this recipe if you have both. And then from there, we're gonna start to add in more of the dry ingredients. We'll start with the sweetness. So for the sweetness, I have 1/2 cup of coconut sugar. I like using coconut sugar instead of a white sugar because white sugar is so refined and overly processed. Coconut sugar is a little less refined, gives it like a nice flavor, and it's a more brown consistency. And then I also have some chopped and pitted medjool dates. My favorite natural sweetness also adds additional fiber, and it's gonna give some more of that gooiness. It's gonna give a little more consistency and texture to our brownies. You could also use maple syrup as another option here if you wanna add a different sweetener that has a little liquid moisture to it. But I wanna try this out with the dates so that we make a little bit more full of a batter and a little fuller brownie so they're not too thin. And then we'll add in our chocolate. I'm using actually a special dark chocolate today. So this is Hershey's Cocoa Special Dark. I love that bitter dark chocolate. So we have 1/2 cup of cocoa powder. You could use regular cocoa powder, or you can even use cacao powder. So cacao is gonna be the unroasted version, and a lot of people love that natural chocolate, and it is really high in antioxidants when it's been unprocessed in like a cold process, not heated. And then we're just gonna add a little bit of salt, about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt and 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, which will help give it a little lift. So once we put those in, we'll go ahead and blend it up here again and get everything combined. Now with the dates in there, it's going to be a little longer of a blending process, and that food processor will mix those up really well. So you want to stop and scrape down your batter a few times possibly, and really just make sure everything's combined. So we're going to check this out. So this is coming together really nice. It's blending pretty well, probably just a little bit more. If you're feeling like it's a little bit dry, you can add a couple tablespoons of like an almond milk or non-dairy milk, or a little bit of water if you feel that it's a little too thick. So just give it a little taste to see if we're good with the sweetness. Nice. So the sweetness now is much better than the first time around where it came out just a little too dry and bitter. So now that I've scraped this down, we'll just give it a little bit more blend to make sure everything is really well combined, and then we'll get it ready to go in the oven. Okay, so we've blended up all our ingredients and I've added it to a 9x9 pan. Make sure it's pre-greased, or you can use some parchment paper in there so it doesn't stick. And we're ready to pop this in the oven. So I've preheated the oven at 350. We'll pop that in there, and I'm gonna check it probably starting at 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It could take up to 40 minutes. But since this is my first time baking this exact recipe, we'll have to feel it out, and it depends. If you like your brownies really gooey, you'll take it out a little sooner. If you like it more cakey, a little drier, then you'll let them cook a little bit longer. Just make sure you keep an eye on your brownies. So the other great thing is that if your kids, my niece loves to lick the spoon after you cook, since this is an egg-free recipe, totally safe to give that batter a little try. It's delicious. All right, we're gonna put these in the oven. Okay, we're back. So I've taken the brownies out of the oven. I let them cool for about 20 or 30 minutes, and then we're able to give them a try. I'm really happy with how these beautiful dark chocolate brownies came out. They're nice and fudgy in the middle. I left mine in for 30 minutes. If you want it a little firmer, a little cakier, you could probably let it go for another 5 to 10 minutes. Just really make sure the outsides don't burn. And you get this awesome, chewy, delicious, dark chocolate black bean brownie. The sweetness and the chocolate came out perfect, nice and gooey, and a great treat that is nutritious and delicious. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.